think we should say happy holidays. It's a season after all. Good morning to you all and welcome to Sunrise Daily today. I'm Chamberlain Oso.
Well, I guess it's the last week of work for many people. In the National Assembly, it's a race to see how they can quickly finish and pass the budget. People are still going for budget defense.
I wish I was one of those many people.
Yes, I also know many companies too. You know, this is going to be one last week. And then in the markets, oh dear Lord, do I want to see what's going on in the market? No, not the stock market. No, not the not that market. I mean the market where we go to buy pepper and crayfish. That particular market.
Yeah.
Only God knows what's going to be looking like this week. But however it looks, good morning and welcome. Compliments of the season. I'm Malkwe Ogunyu.
Hello. Yes, and I'm Ayo Makine. Good morning and welcome. It's December 18. It's a time to celebrate, a season to be jolly, particularly here at Channels Television, as we celebrate Channels Television's win of the Station of the Year for the 16th time. 16th time. Now, if that is not something to celebrate, I mean, call it, you know, what do you want to call it now? Call it a way of saying this is our own celebration. Let's listen.
Gold TV, Arise TV, Channel TV, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the NBC Prize for Television Station of the Year 2023 goes to...
And the winner is... Channel TV. Channel TV. Channel TV.
Channels Television has won this award for 16 times between year 2000 and this year. Won it in 2000, 2001, 2003, 2004, 2008, 2010, 2011, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2021, and 2022. Now, there's that song I wish we could play. This isn't radio. But, guys, it's Stand Up for the Champions. Congratulations to everyone.
Indeed, you can say that again.
I thought it was old.
I thought
you called for the music. I didn't hear it.
Well, he said it's not radio, but hey, I can sing it anyway if you want me to. The only thing I'm missing this morning is our champagne and glasses. Well, it's certainly going to come, but we have to thank you, our viewers, who constantly and consistently put us on our toes to continually deliver. We do not take it for granted at all. The criticisms, the well-dones, the feedback we'll get, every single thing. It's not easy. It's not easy in the market space, I can tell you that. But the desire to serve you, the desire to continue to be the people's voice is what pushes us. And we're glad that at least we have something to show for it. And this is, no matter how many times we win it, we will never take it for granted. Chamberlain.
Well, yes, indeed. Just want to say thank you to everyone out there. We know that it is indeed, we will have a job to do, a nation to build, basically, because we all know that we're all grappling with the challenges. As much as authorities say they want to do the right things and get all of us out of the challenges we face now, we know that it's a huge environment, a huge challenging environment for the media, broadly speaking now, to function in. And so even our colleagues across board, we know the amount of work that they all put in to ensure that things work here. It's not like you could just go ahead and activate the FOI when you need information and it comes and drops just like that. It doesn't work that way. It's not a flip the switch kind of scenario. So yes, indeed, much as we appreciate everyone for at least considering us worthy for you to let us into your homes, we do not take them for granted, as my colleagues have also highlighted here. But we will continue to do what we can to ensure that above all else, our nation is the better for it. No matter what else, no matter what we do, appreciate you and our colleagues across the board. Congratulations to you all and to everybody, because yes, this is indeed you out there doing this. Okay, let's take you through some of the dailies here, and we're going to start with new Telegraph this morning. Aviation FG malls 50% fare subsidy. Look, it's worthy of note. It has indeed. It's sometimes you just wonder what goes on out there. Why these things can't be addressed? Why do they keep soaring? The ticket ticket prices for the airlines. So now 50% subsidy. It's much as, of course, consumers would like a slash, a huge one at that, not just in aviation, across board. But for this, where is this fund going to come from? What's the structure of this subsidy? How is it going to play out? How long will it be for? Will it be effective? How do we know that they won't tell us that? Last time we tried subsidy for the petroleum industry, the quote and unquote, what was the name they call them? Is it the cabals or oil thieves? Or I don't know what I can't remember now, but they said it wasn't achieving the aim for which it was meant for.
Yeah, but Chamberlain, this season, we've seen families unable to travel as a result of the high airfares. People are, just staying put because they cannot by road. They fear the security situation by road, despite assurances, and then also the state of the roads. And we know that not all the roads have been fixed. So you really put out all your options, and then when you look at ticket fares and see that maybe a family of 4 has to almost pay almost 750 between 750 to 800,000 naira to be able to travel from Lagos to Abuja. 800,000 naira in this season, and then for a family of 4.
Sometimes you wonder, so what is the rationale? What template do these airlines even use to fix these prices? Because if it's, for instance, certain other routes are way cheaper than some of the other routes, and you see passengers who don't understand some of this ask huge questions, and of course they have to, because look, times have changed, the world has changed, so people want to see it break down. And then the other parts of this is, if you're able to see some of this breakdown, the huge tax component for these airlines. That's why some of them tell you, that's why it's so huge.
That's why it's so expensive. Yeah. So maybe federal government could give them tax breaks. But even if they did that, would it really reflect in the ticket pricing? Because if you say, okay, give them tax breaks, will they include that as part of their profits as the airlines? Will they take those breaks? I mean, will it really affect the ticket fares? Because they can say, oh, well, we've been given a break. It means we have much more as a company to declare as a profit.
Well, that break, it's, well, maybe not exactly a break, but because if you give them a break and then after a while you go back to that, don't give people and then take certain things back. Of course, there'll be a lot of complaints about that. If they probably slash it so that it stays like that moving forward, and of course it should affect the bottom line. It should affect the prices of tickets, because if you buy the tickets in other parts of the country, you see the difference. You see the huge difference, how cheap it is. Even from London here, back here, you get to see all of those things. But here, it's unfortunately, you can't buy a ticket from there if you have to originate from here. So
yes, you can't. Sadly,
that's because they know some of these things. So, but look at this, Minister, airline operators hold strategic meeting. The better, travelers to fill forms. Information will be sent to CBN for 50% ticket price refund. Okay, I don't know how that's going to work, because the CBN is not a deposit money bank. So are they set up for this kind of function? So that would be a big question.
Big question.
So why is it that the banks themselves can't even perform these functions? Why do we have to go to the CBN? Is that the only option we've got? Or is it the last option we've got? It shouldn't be the first option, should it? So all of these questions, I imagine this committee will look into it. So that explains why all of those clear-outs in the aviation was done, probably. So now, they better get results. Because if they told Mr. President, look, I want to achieve this, but I can't do it with this. Okay.
It would be great to hear the
now that you have this, go and do it.
Yeah, we can encourage people to pick up a copy of New Telegraph, but it will be great to also hear details from the minister's mouth as to what precisely they're cooking up.
Okay, and then speaking of politics, look at this at the bottom strip here. 26 defected lawmakers' seats. Court stops INEC from conducting fresh election in Rivers. And then you see CUPP alleges secret suit to return pro-Wike lawmakers. It's an alleged allegation, but who knows? You get to see a lot of these things as we progress. And then, do you see the material circulating over the judiciary? New persons who are appointed? I guess maybe we'll look for it and see how we can highlight that. But that's no Telegraph this morning.
Okay, well, I'm a little spoiled for choice right now, but let me take a look at The Guardian. A little partial to their headlines these days. Well, The Guardian is still focused on the economy, as always. Federal government firms trade jobs as illegal expatriates take over economy. That's a lead story right here. The page 6 read for you. And somebody has said that we should take a second look at this term expatriates. I mean, why is it that when foreigners come here and take jobs, they're labeled expatriates? But when we go over there and we're about to get jobs, do we get the same label, or are we just termed foreigners? Are we just termed foreign workers? And that's where it ends. Because oftentimes, what you label people, sometimes also reflects the value you place on them. So this federal government firms trade jobs as illegal expatriates. You don't say illegal foreigners. Illegal expatriates take over economy. Is the lead story this morning, and they have this. Okay, look at this. 13,829 foreigners were issued EQ permits, while 1,161 business permits were given to foreign companies to operate in Nigeria between 2019 and 2022. Now, 13,000 expatriate quota, 1,600 work permits issued in 3 years. Expatriates issued Nigerian diplomatic passports. Is that allowed? Is that part of the deal? I don't know. Page 6 is where you'll get details. I think in Nigerian immigration, you'd also take a second look at the front pages of The Guardian this morning. And you also see here 150,000 expatriates in Nigeria. That's according to the Ministry of Interior. So it's very interesting to see, who qualifies as an expatriate. If we want to keep using that term, does a foreigner who come in here to do the job that a Nigerian can ordinarily do, should that person also be termed an expatriate? Those who come and do the job that even our blue-collar people should be doing, should those people be also termed expatriate? Should they fall under that category? Assuming we decide that that's the only term we want to keep going with, or page 6 might offer you the details this morning, but that's what we're looking at on the front page of The Guardian. You also have a bit of politics. Pro-Wike lawmakers re-strategize to oust Fubara, vow to reclaim rivers. Kano residents won't accept injustice, Deputy Governor warns. Serap sues INEC for failing to prosecute electoral offenders in Bayelsa, Kogi, Imo. Yeah, so for you failing to sue those people, we will sue you. I like that. Page 5 is where you find details. Profligate governors, political class, pauperizing citizens is their editorial this morning. We'll leave it there for The Guardian newspapers.
Look at the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. It's keeping its eyes squarely, primarily on the case in Rivers State, the Rivers Assembly crisis. Rivers State government, PDP, G27 lawmakers disagree over seats. I thought there were just 2 disagreements, but hey, look at the writers. Are defection constitutional? Rivers PDP in crisis. That's according to Mewule. G27's claim mischievous. PDP remains united, according to Damagum. Your seats remain vacant. Rivers State government tells factional legislators. Rivers APC will be strong, according to Tony Okocha, CTC chairman. Alleged draft of Abuja court's judgment surfaces. Then APC must take responsibility for crisis in Rivers. That's according to Lukman. Find the details of that story on the inside pages of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Look beyond the picture, how MDAs, corporations failed to insure 80% FG assets. That story is on page 19. You may want to please check what the details of that are. Some years ago, we found out that according to between the ICPC and the office and the budget office, there are 1,500 plus ministries, departments, and agencies. Which ones among them failed to do this? And what are the consequences of not insuring these assets? The details you'll find on page 19 of the paper this morning. Electricity generation drops by 4% in 3 months. Consequences, please? Do I need to even say, ask that question? Because I think the answer is pretty obvious. Well, Mr. and Mrs. this morning, you're going to have to read it yourself and to find out exactly what Mrs. is wishing Mr. on his birthday and what his response is. That's the Vanguard newspaper this morning.
Take a look at leadership next. Insecurity, concern as Safe School Initiative gets zero budget. UN, World Bank, EU express worry. Nigeria mum. And then you see 168 Zamfara schools remain shut. Back to CSOs. And then congratulations, Professor Ochegbu emerges Cambridge Varsity president, and that's indeed really, really good one right there, because you have this kind of narrative. You have several of this out there, but it turns out that, look, we will be the ones to celebrate them. Because if we don't, others may just feel, okay, if you live a vacuum, they fill it with the negative side of the whole thing, because, there's always that 5% in any country, that will always go south. But people like this, you cannot celebrate them enough. And I think society should leverage or take a cue in terms of ensuring that professionals are given their pride of place in our society, so that certain other people don't look up and see a negative example, and that's what they aspire to be. And then when that is the case, of course, they'll begin to cut corners and do whatever they can to get there. But if they know that, look, if you break the time, or if you break the laws, you face the music. There has to be consequences of certain actions. And by the way, what happened to that Asman investigation where they said they found water tank? I'm just wondering. I don't know if I missed it. I may need to go back to it. Those are the kind of things that you want to be sure you get to the bottom of. If it's from the suppliers, it means we have a problem. If they're selling what they ought not to sell, bigger problem.
Consequences.
So how do we know that all of the other airlines, what are we doing to make sure they don't fall prey? Same scenario. All right, that's leadership this morning.
Well, Daily Trust is what I'm looking at next for you, and look at what they have here. Zamfara community under siege as bandits strike. Military vehicles, police outpost burned. 3 persons killed, 16 injured. State government to hire 4,200 security guards. So that's the lead story on the front page of Daily Trust this morning. They also have a big story with the picture they're showing you right there. A long queue at a cooking gas refill station in Abuja yesterday. Well, I don't know what has caused this particular one. I bought gas, cooking gas, pretty easy yesterday. So I think it will also depend on the community, or maybe people, maybe it's scarce in some areas, but I think it might be something for the regulatory authorities to look into, to see how it is that people can get this commodity. Everything mustn't be difficult. Right now, petrol is only an NPC that is selling at 617 naira per litre in Abuja. A lot of other stations are selling, but they're selling at much higher. So if you want to avoid the queues, you have to go to the other stations. If you want it cheaper, you go to the government-owned station. Could that be the situation with cooking gas? Well, I do not think that this particular commodity should be difficult to get. So hopefully somebody will take a look at what Daily Trust is reporting this morning. And you can also tell us what the situation is at your end. Is it easy to get cooking gas? Are you able to get the fuel that you need? Fuel in your vehicle, fuel for your kitchen, even if you don't get anyone. Fuel for the kitchen is very important, especially in this season. So as much as possible, do let us know what it is like at your end. You also find a number of other stories right here. Afenifere raises alarm over rising kidnappings in Southwest. That is right there. Okay, this is something we should highlight. NMA gives federal government 45-day ultimatum to review doctors' salary. Okay, even me, I want a review, but 45 days ultimatum, pretty steep. Page 27 is where you find details. I mean, you should remember, NMA says we're not a union, you know? So maybe a strike will not follow this threat, but let us hope the federal government listens. There have been wage awards given according to those that we've spoken to in many areas, but according to them, they also say that these wage awards have not been reflected in the salaries that have been paid people. Please, federal government, state government, whoever it is that is giving wage award, ensure that the wages which you have promised people to pay them are reflected, especially in this season. Let's leave it there for Daily Trust.
The Nigerian Observer is next, and I think it is one of the consequences of not doing what you're asking, Maokwe. That's what the Nigerian Observer leads with this morning, and which also concerns something entirely different. Bleak Yuletide looms as Naira scarcity worsens amid rising currency in circulation. That's the rider to that story. It begins on the front page, continues on page 4. And I'm not sure how tenable it is or how acceptable it is for many people who hear that the explanation given by the government agency, the CBN, that it's because some people are hoarding the cash. If people are hoarding cash, and it's from what we gathered as at March this year, as at September this year, the currency in circulation is up to 2.76 trillion naira, up from 1.68 trillion in March this same year. Isn't it then some kind of distrust in the system or lack of confidence in the system when people are hoarding the cash? I mean, I'm trying to understand how that is tenable to any Nigerian, that it's because some people are hoarding how much cash now? Trillions of naira, and consequently we're not able to, people are having difficulty getting cash to do business. Well, so many people are using electronic means of payments of anything, but hey, how about that fellow who wants to buy Bolly or what they call in UI or OAU, dangerous burger, and he has to make a transfer to pay 500 naira? I don't know, but please, can we have some more tenable reason for why this is happening? How can we have cash scarcity in the economy? It is the biggest in Africa, isn't it? The Nigerian economy. More answers we are hoping for. Right above the nameplate, Obaseki's business-friendly policies give boost to aviation industry in Edo. And the rider says as airlines into Benin Airport rises from 1 to 9 in 7 years. Cheering news. Right beside the nameplate, work begins on east-west other FG roads as rains cease. Find the details of that on page 4 of the paper. That's the Nigerian Observer this morning.
Well, Business Day says huddles dog FG's plan to sell 40% shares in discos. I think they said it's about time, or it's come to that time where they might need to revisit the agreement or renew the agreement, whichever way, I mean. So that's why all of this is making the rounds. What do they do? So we're hoping that proper diligence or due diligence will be done to ensure that if we need to make any changes whatsoever moving forward, it is or should be such that there will be significant improvements to the outcome electricity, not just generation, but mission. Transmission.
There are plans to restructure
Big headache.
TCN. The plans to restructure TCN, and that is generating some concerns already. Mixed reactions. We'll see how the details of that, pans out in the coming days. So I don't think that will be done under the dark, under the table. It was something that should be transparent, and people should understand what the expectations are of the transmission company of Nigeria and the decentralization plans they have for it.
All right. So plans everywhere. Plans to sell shares for Discos, plans for TCN. So we hope all the plans just come to fruition. And then for this big story of theirs here, you see insider abuse, hoarding, leave banks with cash shortage. So maybe that explains, maybe that might be the explanation you've been looking for.
Hoarding to what end?
You never know. Insider abuse, and then, so that's just what it is right now. It's up to the authorities now to rein in anyone who thinks that they are above the law. That's business day.
First, it was us being warned by the CBN that counterfeiters are taking over the space. Be careful. There's fake Naira notes around now. But when there isn't sufficient cash, this is what counterfeit. They will cash in on the gaps and see how it is that they can fill it in. Well, let's take a look at what's happening right here in Abuja, Federal Capital Territory. The Abuja Inquirer has details for us. National priority budget. How FCT was denied funds for critical projects in 2023. That's a lead story right there. What precisely happened? You might want to see details somewhere inside the paper. And of course, the story which Himling highlighted initially, Nigerian-born Prof. Ijoma named Cambridge Varsity president. It's a page 3 read. The president indeed did congratulate her yesterday. World Bank, inflation, slow growth pushed 24 million Nigerians below poverty. So that story is on page 3 of the paper. This is coming from the World Bank. On the one hand, they say we're not yet buying petrol fully up at to be buying at 750. Then you now still say that inflation, slow growth is pushing Nigerians. But maybe you should read it all in the context. Read it all in the context. Page 3 is where you find details. Let's leave it there for the Abuja Inquirer.
Look at the Nigerian News Direct this morning, and it is talking about money. And this is just hoping, one way or the other, that this actually gets somewhere. Look at the headline. World Bank finances Nigeria's renewable energy sector with $750 million. Whoa. Okay, look at the writers. 17.5 million Nigerians to get solar and power grids as electricity subsidy gulps 204.5 billion naira in Q3 of 2023. Well, that's a story, is quite interesting. It'll be good actually to find out from the federal government agency in charge of rural electrification, the Rural Electrification Agency, how far have we gone on that project, and what's the shortfall that we have to cover? Because we're talking about food preservation and all those things. Rural electrification can, I believe, do a lot in that regard. Plus the fact that many local government areas are struggling by themselves. Look above the nameplate, 15,000 Lagos traders get 50,000 naira cash support as Sanwo-Olu launches market palliative scheme. That word palliative again. Anyway, find out the details of how it is being disbursed on page 23 of the Nigerian News Direct. And beside that one, inflation rate, LCCI proffers policy mix to ensure naira stability. Find the details of that on page 9 of the Nigerian News Direct this morning. And with that, we have come to the end of this part of the program. We're back right after now. There are some issues lined up. Please stay with us.